Wouldn't it be nice if you could get real guidance in the moment, in real time on situations, and just know this is exactly what to do? Might sound like Fantasyland, but you're actually hardwired to be able to do that. Just like artificial intelligence is exploding everywhere, more excitingly, intuitive intelligence is starting to activate in so many of us that we just can't deny it. And we need this intuitive intelligence. We're in a world right now that is much too unpredictable to just rely on habit and not paying attention or expect other people to take care of us. We can't be assured that what was true yesterday is going to be true tomorrow, and we need to be fully present and on board. So this is why intuitive intelligence is kicking online, because it's evolution. So today I'm going to talk to you about how to get real guidance in real time and not stay stuck in uncertainty and insecurity. My name is Sonia Choquette. Thanks for coming to my channel. And if you're guided here, well, it's already working to some degree. So let's get on with it. First of all, we have to understand that guidance is something that we are all naturally hardwired to receive. It's natural. Birds have their own kind of sign of radar. Bats have echolocation. Whales have sonar. Butterflies, monarch butterflies travel. Nature follows energy, and we're wired to do the same. Unfortunately, because of our influences and to a large degree, our very oppressive education system, we have been disconnected from our inner guidance system. And you know what else it disconnects us from? Our spirit, our authentic self, because that is the ultimate inner guide. It's also the ultimate creator. It is that creative force in you that is so important and so empowering. So we want to turn that back on. Step one, don't fight it. Quit thinking that's weirdo, that's woo-woo, that's strange, because that's so last century. Science has evolved, thank goodness, if you ask me, and does recognize we are energy beings and we communicate energetically. More and more and more books are coming out saying that we work with energy, our thoughts can manifest, we can program our subconscious minds, we can create what we want, but we also are connected to the whole. We are energetically connected to the earth, to one another, to our creator, and yet the biggest complaint people have and the biggest sorrow of their lives is feeling disconnected, isolated, alone, insecure, unclear, but really all by myself. That is a very big indication that you are stuck on the third dimension, which is not a place. It's a state of mind. It's a level, it's a way of perception that only recognizes things in the physical form. So if that's the case, I am separate from you. And primarily when you're in that state of mind, you scare me. So you're defended, you're guarded, you put your energy up, you push the world away, and you isolate yourself. So when you start to open up and come back to, well, wait a minute, that's not true. We may be in different bodies, but we're breathing the same breath. We're sharing the same environment. We have far more connection than we do differences. And same with the earth. I'm part of the natural world, and my body's made of the same natural things, and my spirit is connected to the spirit world. It's certainly a big paradigm shift. And for some, it might be a very big leap. But you know what? We inherently feel this. We feel this because it is how we're designed. So waking up to the fifth dimension is not something that you do. It's more accurately something you remember. You're starting to remember that I'm a spiritual being and I am divinely connected and I can be guided and I have a divine support system. That is the biggest shift necessary to begin to live in a way that is available to guidance and feels secure and connected. So that's step one. Step two is you have to turn down the mental noise. So there's a lot of ways to do that. The first is through breathing. Just breathe. When we hold our breath, you go into fight or flight. Your brain takes off. I'm threatened because your body isn't getting enough oxygen. So you want to breathe. And the way to breathe, and I've taught people this throughout my entire channel, is you breathe in through the nose, and then you pull your belly to your spine. Do that 2 or 3 times. Then you breathe with your imagination, kind of breathe up from your feet. Breathe up again to your crown. Open your jaw. Release that loud sigh. It instantly calms and quiets your mind, puts you in your heart, and allows you to replug in to the energy field that informs you. So breathing. If you need guidance, you need to pause and start taking some slow breaths. Another good pattern of breathing is to breathe into the count of 4, hold, exhale to the count of 6, pause. Breathe to the count of 4, pause, exhale to the count of 6, pause. And you can do this with one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. And that also quiets your brain, kind of cools the head on fire. And that allows you to enter a quieter state of mind. Another quick way to connect to the 5th dimension is to wonder instead of figure out. Just notice the busyness of your brain the minute you say, I'm trying to figure something out. It's like a little mouse running around the house. It's just squirting around everywhere, just darting, and it just leaves you exhausted and agitated. However, when you wonder, you go into a different state. You go into your right brain, your heart brain, you open up and you start listening for guidance and inspiration. So wonder is the front door to intuitive guidance and downloads from the 5th dimension. So don't try to figure out a problem. Wonder how it might be solved. Wonder how this could work out. Wonder what the best possible solution going forward is, the next best step for me. The other thing is you have to give up your ego's need to always be in control, always be right, always be sure. I hear so many people that I've worked with as I mentor them or work with them, one of their first objections to their intuition is, how can I be sure? In other words, they get the guidance. They don't trust it. So this need to be sure is actually a fear of vulnerability. And a fear, it is probably from your childhood or being raised in a way where you had to always be in control and be right, or you were punished in some way. Have compassion and give up being sure to wondering if it feels true. Just wonder if you feel something, if you get a download, if you get some big guidance, ask yourself, how does this feel? Does it feel true? Does it leave me feeling uplifted? I recently taught a class in Paris. I had a group of students, and one of my clients was so lovely, and she said, I know it's guidance if it leaves me, if it's bright, if it lifts me up, if it gives me energy. That's the way to go. And, our inner guidance system isn't meant to be complicated. It's meant to be straightforward and direct, but it is a language of its own. So you have to learn to read yourself and how your inner guidance works for you, because it is not one size fits all. Not at all. How I receive guidance is very different than someone who says, I see it and it lights up. For me, it just feels true. But when my guidance comes in, it's not a conversation. There's no argument. It's just, this is the way it is. This is what's real and true. And it really does work that way for me. So put in the comments, how does it work for you? Do you get a gut feeling? Do you get an energy? Does it just drop in? Is it a download? Just because when you start acknowledging it, it gets stronger. So just by putting that acknowledgement in the comments, you strengthen that channel. And it's a real simple way to start getting more downloads. Now, here's another obvious and keen sense of the obvious one. Ask your spirit what's What guidance do you have for me on this? Now, we have a tendency to ask for the right answer, and that is back in the ego. That is back in the logic brain. And really, it's about right for who? Getting the right answer was actually, for many of us, the need to get approval from someone by saying what they wanted to hear. And that's not ever going to be beneficial when you're working with guidance. When you're working with guidance, what you want with your guides is what is truly supportive to me right now, what will work for me, what will advance me, what will support me, my spirit, my truth, my creativity, what will connect me. You want to look for the right answer because there's only a true answer for you, which is very different than for someone else. That's a big, big point. And then there's one other point I want to make today, and that is guidance is subtle. It's easy to ignore. Things pop in and out of your mind. I just was sharing in a previous video how someone was getting guidance to get his health checked, and he ignored it for 7 months and nearly had a heart attack. And he discovered he had 3 clogged arteries. It was a genetic thing. It wasn't an obvious thing. He wasn't obviously in a compromised health state. He was very fit and not overweight. So he was ignoring something to his peril. Strong guidance is often guidance that really is protecting you. So now, one of the reasons people ignore guidance is because makes you comfortable. I have a client who had guidance to end his marriage, and it made him obviously very uncomfortable. And it wasn't that she was a bad person or they were fighting. He just knew they didn't belong together as a married couple. It troubled him so much. So finally, he just sat down with his wife and said, you know what? I do love you. And I know we've built a life together, but we don't belong together. My guidance, I have to say, we don't belong together as a couple. Maybe we're supposed to be siblings or family, but this isn't working. And she just burst into tears and she said, I agree with you. And in fact, I don't even think I'm heterosexual. If I want a partner, I think and fantasize that I want a female partner. And I don't act on it because it's not what I signed up for with you, but that's the truth for me. So they divorced and stayed friends because he followed his guidance. It's like we can't make each other wrong if the dynamic we're set up with just needs an adjustment. Everybody can still have a good experience. Which brings me to another point for today. There's not one solution. There's many solutions, and your guidance is proposing for you to notice and be aware of them all the time. The ego is right, wrong, black, white. You get boxed in a corner, it paralyzes you. So ask your guide and your higher self and your angels and all the helpers that are out there that are known or unknown. Ask. Show me the solutions. Show me my options. Because if it's one way or nothing, all or nothing, then we get paralyzed again. What if it's wrong? But if you get several options, you could go several ways, and you'll feel which one feels best for you. The biggest reason I want to encourage you to start working with your fifth dimension self and see it's natural, and I need to just start opening up to that, is when you start having more guidance, more information, more support, life gets easier, a lot easier. Life gets quite fun, in fact. And that's what we want to have happen. It's going to be a lot easier traveling through a jungle with a guide and a flashlight than if you're just fumbling in the dark by yourself. That's what intuition is about. It's that guidance into the unknown and the reassurance, the companionship, and actually it even brings the fun, the joy, the support. Please put in the comments how your higher fifth dimension download, spontaneity, insights, guidance is starting to show up, because I know it is. It's really not that it isn't showing up. It's more, are you paying attention? Are you allowing this? That's the more important question. Are you receptive to this kind of guidance making your life easier? And then secondly, I want you to write down in the comments what you want guidance in, on what subject, in what area. Where could you stand to be guided? Where are you available to be guided? Because just by writing it in the comments, I can assure you within 3 or 4 days, you will get a big, clear answer to this. Because when you put it out there and you say, this is what I want, you are letting the universe know, I am available for your help. Living as a fifth dimension being is not being logical, it is being magical. But logically speaking, why wouldn't you? It's easier, it's better, you're more creative, more productive, healthier, more protected, more connected, more supported, more prosperous. So even though your logic brain isn't controlling the process, logically speaking, it's the only way to go now. So thank you for tuning in. If you found this valuable, please give me a thumbs up. And better yet, please subscribe, because we have lessons every week. And I really am on a mission to and just amplify and strengthen this inner channel for you so your lives will be more beautiful. Because when your life's more beautiful, you're making it more beautiful for absolutely for others. And that's how we evolve. That's how we help each other. That's how we fulfill our purpose. So stay tuned. Come back. See you next week. All my love. Thumbs up. Subscribe. Bye, everyone.